Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In today's video we're going to be making this shell square, and it's made up of individual rounds, and we call these shells and we're going to call this our skeleton. But I've used quite vibrant colours. I'll go through what colours I'm using in just a second. So for my blanket I'm going to be using a multitude of colours. I've got like a grey chenille one, which is a red heart. I've got a lime green one, which is a sublime baby cashmere merino silk. I've got a Debbie Bliss baby cashmerino and another Debbie Bliss in baby cashmerino. I'm going to be using a size 4mm hook, and I will be needing my scissors because I'm going to be chopping off my ends and weaving them in as I go. So let's get crocheting. So it's going to seem a little odd, but the first thing that we need to do is make a circle of double crochets and chains. So we want the middle of our blanket to be solid, so instead of doing a chain to start off with, we're going to do a magic circle or adjustable loop, whatever you call it. So holding your fingers like this, you're going to clasp that short end with your thumb, and you're going to come around your fingers like so, and you have this exaggerated X. You're going to go under this first loop, grab the top loop, come through and twist. And the reason why you twist is you're just holding it secure. Holding all of this section here, clasp it and remove your fingers, and just to secure it I'm going to chain one. We will use that chain, but just right now I just want to secure it. And then I'm just going to remove this tail end from the middle of the circle, like so. So I've chained one, I need to chain 3 in total, and my chain 3 counts as my first double crochet. So that's 1 chain, 2 and 3, and then chain 1. So the pattern for this is a double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, all the way around until we have 8 double crochet. So that's 1, 2 and chain, 3 and chain, 4 and chain, 5 and chain, 6 and chain, 7 and chain, and then the last one is 8. If at any point your center loop gets too big, just pull on this short end. Indeed, you're going to need to pull on that short end right now to tighten everything up. And we're going to single crochet into the 3rd chain that we made. So that's 1, 2, and this is where we're going to put our slip stitch, into this one here. So to do a slip stitch, it's just hook in, yarn over and come through the chain, and then come through. Oh, I'm sorry, when I did that last double crochet here, I wanted to show you exactly how to do a double crochet. Yarn over your hook, and when you do a yarn over, you're going to go from far to near, like so. Hook in here and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, come through 2, yarn over and come through the last 2. Chain 1, and that's now a great time for me to slip stitch. So I come through the chain and through this one here, and that completes round 1. It also completes the pink for me right now. What I always do is I always chain 1 when I'm about to finish off with this colour. If you don't, the chances are it may slip and it may unravel. So I always chain 1, and I'm going to leave a really small tail here, and I'll show you why in a second. So I've just cut that off, and then just pull your hook through and tighten it up. So now I'm going to join the grey. So this time I'm going to make a slip knot with the grey, and I hope that you can see it okay on my white background because it is quite a pale grey. So to make a slip stitch, you just make a loop like that, and then with the long end you come through the loop, pick it up with your hook and just pull on the short end. Now obviously that's too big, so I'm just going to make that smaller by holding the knot and just making that loop a little bit smaller. So I'm going to start way over here, away from this tail, but I do want to make sure of one thing. In this one I want to make sure that I'm going to do my 7 double crochet, and I'll show you what I mean in a second, so I can go over this tail end and I don't have to weave in any ends. Yay! So that'd be 7 double crochet single, 7 double crochet single, 7 double crochet. So we'll go in here. So all I've done is I've got my new colour loop on my hook, push the hook into any space and just come through the work and there, and it's on. So what I'm going to do now is, because I've got my new colour joined, I'm going to make sure that this tail end lies across, and I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, which counts as my first double crochet, and I'm going to make 6 more. So 1, 2, and they're all going into that same space there, and they're all going over this tail. So that was 1, 2, 3, because again I'm counting this first chain as my first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one is 7. And that is what we will now refer to as a fan. So that's our first fan shape made. So hook back in, and now I'm going to trim this tail edge off and discard. Now in the next one we're going to put a single crochet, so that's 1 in there, and then we're going to move on to the next chain 1 space and do 7 double crochet again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's our second shell made. In this one it's a single crochet, so you see the repetitive pattern forming now. It's 7 double crochet and then a single, and then 7 double crochet and a single. So in this one we'll put 7 double crochet, and this is where I'm going to go over the tail of this pink here. So into this gap here I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and I'm more than happy that I've caught that tail in there. So now I'm just going to snip that end off, and again I don't have to weave in any end, yay. In this one we're going to put a single crochet, and I am using the American terms here, although I'm an English speaker. I am going to be using the American terms. So in here we're going to put our 7, so speeding it up a little bit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then this last one is a single crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch to the top of that first chain 3 that we made. So straight in there, come through 1, come through 2, chain 1 to secure the work, and then we're just going to snip that tail off like so. And that is how your blanket is started. It's at this point I'm now going to weave in this end. So I'll just go and get my yarn needle, and I will be back in a second. So I have my yarn needle. Some people prefer plastic, some people prefer metal. I'm sure you'll have your own opinion on that. It's entirely up to you, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. Now, if anyone has seen any of my other videos, they'll know that I'm an absolutely awful sewer and that I hate weaving in my ends. But I'm going to do it now so that my work is nice and secure for when I move on to the next phases. And all I'm going to do is just catch up the bottom of those double crochets, like so. Push the needle through. Take my yarn needle off and just cut that as near to my work as I dare without snipping any of it, and that's my end tied in. Now I'm going to change to the orange yarn. So exactly the same principle as before. We're going to make a slip knot, and I'm not going to show you how to change colour after every single row because I think it might get a little bit boring. So with my hook, with my loop on my hook, I'm going to find any double crochet that any single crochet. You're going to find a single crochet that you made from the previous round, and you can tell which one it is because these are the double crochets that go round, and then where it dips in, that's where your single crochet is. So into the top of any single crochet. Now with the colours, with the vibrant colours, I'm going to call those the bones. So we need to make the bones of our blanket in order to do the fans. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to be making corners on this round, and then all the other rounds we're obviously only going to do corners in the corners. So to do a corner you need to do a double V. So that's my first double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet in there. So that would be a single V, but we need to do a double V. So to separate them you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do exactly the same again. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and again I've gone over this tail end, which I'll be doing throughout this video, and then I'm just going to snip it off and off I go again. Now we're not going to crochet into the fan. To get around the fan you need to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And as I said, we need to do corners, so we're going to be doing this here, here and here. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now that's 1 V made. To separate the V's out, we need to chain 3 and make another one. Chain 1 in between each double crochet, and that's our next one made. So again, to get over the fan, we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Instead of going the tail end going this way, I'm going to make it go that way, and again I'm going to crochet over the top. So finding that single crochet there, I'm going to put my first double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, separate out the V's by chaining 3 and back into the same place to make that other V. Always chain 1 in between each double crochet to give them the space that they need. Okay, sorry, my yarn was just wrapped around my camera holder. So now I'm just going to trim this tail edge off. Chain 5 to get over my fan. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and do exactly the same into the top of this single crochet here. So 1, chain 1 and then back in to make my first V, chain 3 and then back into the same place for my next V. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and now I'm going to I'm going to slip stitch. I'm not going to single crochet at all. I'm going to slip stitch into the third chain that I made, because again that 3 chain counts as my first double crochet. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So my hook is going to go into this one. Yarn over, come through there, come through there, chain 1 to secure it, and just give it a short tail. And that's your next set of bone structure complete. So I'm going to go ahead and off camera I'm going to chain to attach my grey yarn, and then I'll show you what to do on the next round. But I think it's already starting to look pretty amazing, and you can really see that square shape starting to come on now. So I am actually going to show you how to add on this grey. So I'm leaving this tail over here because I want to overlap on this grey tail here. So can you see that you have 3 gaps here in the corner? This one and this one. We're going to start off into this gap here. Okay, so off we go. Putting my hook into the gap, not into the top of the stitch, but into this gap here. We're going to bring on our yarn like so, and we're going to chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and into this gap we're going to make 7. So that's 1, going over my tail end here so I don't have to weave it in later. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and I'm just going to cut off that tail end now, because if I don't cut it off now, you can guarantee I'll forget to do it, and you're going to have all these awful tail ends at the end of the blanket. So I've done my first fan, and into this chain 3 gap here we're going to single crochet, just one, and then we're going to put our 7 double crochet into this next one here. So you don't need to chain or anything like that to get to the next gap, just straight in and do the 7 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, let me try that one again. I need to pull out some more yarn here. Right, let me just count those again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and that's our corner made. However, we need to anchor down this chain 5 space in the middle of our fan. Now because we made 7, you can either count on and do it into the 4th, or you can just kind of go, yep, that bit there, that's the middle of my fan. There. I'm just going to single crochet into the top of our 4th double crochet and over the chain, so it anchors it down. And then off we go again to do the 7 double crochet into this first chain 1 gap. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and cut off this tail edge of the orange. Again, into the chain 3 gap we're going to put a single crochet, and then into this one we're going to do the next 7 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and that's our second corner made. So as you can see, if I lie it down flat, you can see that these two are our corner pieces. Again, we have to anchor down this chain. So instead of guessing, I will actually be precise this time. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and it's at the top of this one that I need to put the single crochet into the top of it here and anchor down that chain as I do so. So I put my hook in and come through and bring my hook up and over the top of the chain like so. So you go ahead and carry on with the rest of these corners, remembering to anchor your chain as you do. 7 double crochet, a single crochet, 7 double crochet, and I will join you back round here. So I've just done my single crochet to anchor the chain 5 from the previous round, and then I need to slip stitch to finish off this round. Chain 1 to secure it and snip off the grey. And now this time for the bones I'm going to use this beautiful lime green, which I've been so excited to use. So just take all that out, and again, to change colour you just kind of do this whole thing. Now let's have a look at the makeup of what we have so far. We have these two together, which is our corner, and then this V here. These two for our corner, and then a V, these two V, these two V. So in this one we're going to be putting a single V, and that's where we're going to start. Okay, so I'm going to start here, which is well away from my tail end, which I'll want to weave in crochet over in a second. So this is where I'm going to start my lime green bones. So just slip stitch in there, and as before we're going to chain 3 for our first double crochet, and then an extra one, and then back into the same place for our double crochet. Now, as with the orange, we need to chain 5 to skip our first fan, and we're going to be chaining 5 to skip over every single fan that we come to. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this is where we come to our corner, and we need to put the double V in. So in there for 1 double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet. So we chain 1 to separate out our V, and then we chain 3 and back into the same place excuse me, for the next V. Chain 1 and back in here for the last double crochet of this corner, and then we chain 5 to go over this fan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is only a single because it's not at a corner, it was one of those deep V's that we came to. I'm going to crochet over this tail end here. So we're going to go into the top of this single crochet, one double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, all in the same place. Chain 5 to skip over our fan. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we're back at our corner again. So like over here, we have to do this corner section. So into the top of the single crochet, go to 1 and chain 2 for our first V. Separate the V's by chaining 3. Just pull out some more yarn, and then do the next V. Chain 5 to get over the fan. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now this one is a deep V, so it's obvious that we're on the side, so we only need to make 1 V. So always into the top of the single crochet, chain 1 and there, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then back to our corner for our double. Oops. Chain 3, one, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This one is a deep V, so we know it's only a single V that we need to make. Chain 1 and in there, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This one's a double, so in here, chain 1, and that's our first V of the corner made. Separate the corner V's by chaining 3, and then we need to make another one. Bit of fluff there, oh well. We've got fluffy bones in our crochet. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we slip stitch to the third chain that we made, which will be the top of our fake double crochet if you like. So in there, chain 1 just to secure it and cut off the green. So now if you lay your work out flat, you will be able to see that it's a definite square shape. I think it looks quite funky with all these different colours. So now I'll be going back with the grey. I'm not going to show you how to add the colour now because I think you'll just get bored of that, and then we'll go through how to do the next round. Okay, so I've just joined the grey on, and as you can tell, I've started at a corner, and I only do that so I can make sure that I do this tail end. You're more than welcome to start anywhere that you want. I would recommend starting in one of the shells and not anchoring down the chain. So that being said, I've started in the corner at the furthest one to the right of what I'm now going to do as the corner shell. So I need to chain 1, 2, 3 as my first double crochet, and as with all shells you do 7 double crochets. So let's count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. I'm going to move that tail end out of the way, and into the chain 3 space we're going to single crochet, and then off we go again into this gap for our 7 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So now we have to anchor down our chain. So go to the top of the shell. You can either count your 4 in or just judge, kind of go, yeah, that's the top of my shell there. And this is where we only do 1 shell. See, we did 2 here for the corner. While we're on a straight edge, we only do 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Right, I'm going to zoom in, make sure I get this right. No, wrong way. No, I'd get it the wrong way. And show you how to count if you are a perfectionist unlike me. So that's 1 there, 2, 3, 4. You come to the top of this stitch and you anchor down the chain. Like so. Zoom out. Yeah, got it the wrong way. And then we're back at the corner, which is 7 double crochet, a single, 7 double crochet. So I'm going to show you how to do this one corner, and then I'm going to leave you to your own devices. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochet in the chain 3 space. I'm trying to make it more interesting, my voice, because you know, same thing over and over again. Okay, so 7 double crochet into this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, I'm going to anchor down this one again. Yeah, that's about the top, and then I'm only going to put one in here, one shell in there. So let's lay it out flat and admire our work. Oh yes, our work is very pretty. I say work, it's actually quite fun. So I'm going to go off, have a cup of coffee, carry on with my crochet. I wish you all the best of luck. Don't forget, one single shell in here, and then you're going to do the shells. And each time you change colour, do try and chain one, because it does anchor down the work. If you're interested, Create Crochet does have a Facebook page. We would be absolutely honoured to see you on there. But in the meantime, happy crocheting, my friends, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye!